Are you crazy? You're not talking about him as one of the best managers ever?
No, he is one of the best.
I wouldn't say is he? Or is it individual mistakes, or is it tactical mistakes?
Tactical mistakes.
Tactical or individual?
I go on what
Which one?
No.
But they've had, you could say, Nigel, a tough draw in some ways, or can you say that when PSG are always supposed to be one of the favourites for the Champions League?
I wouldn't say it's a tough draw. Those are the teams that they have to compete against. You know, that's what it is. You want to be a Champions League winner. These are the teams you want to compete against because those are the type of clubs that PSG look at themselves as to be on the same level. So you have to go out there and perform. I think the problem with PSG is that Ligue 1, they're not challenged as much in Ligue 1 as when it does come to the Champions League. So it's difficult to make that change and to step up your game to another level compared to the other teams where they're so competitive.
Do you think that's why they haven't won the Champions League so far?
I would have to say that plays a big part in why. Because they've run away with Liga all the time. There isn't that much challenge. This year you look at them competing against Monaco, probably, and Marseille doing well this year. But that's about it. But you talk about Serie A and the Premier League, and apart from La Liga, there's a lot more competitiveness with the different teams who are competing and creating upsets, and every game is a very, very difficult game, and it's not the case as much with Liga.
They had the front three, right? Neymar, Messi, Mbappe, right? And they thought that they were going to win, and then Neymar and Messi leave, and they put it all on Mbappe's shoulder. And when Mbappe left, all the fans and PSG's motto was, we'll do it without Mbappe. We'll have young players. We'll have inspired players. The club comes first. They had a great start to the domestic league. I think they grew a lot tonight. The way that they played tonight in tight areas, the way that they exposed Manchester City, they knew that they would play with the high line. They knew that they would be able to expose them. There was a lot of maturity, a lot of character in that performance, and they scored 4 goals. And I think a lot of them grew tonight. A lot of them showed, the talent and the quality that they have. Obviously, Kvaratskhelia coming now to join the team. Barcola and Dembele had fantastic performances, knowing that he's there now. So I think as a team that grew a lot in 90 minutes tonight.
Have you seen enough, though, Tony, from PSG so far in this Champions League campaign that makes you think they could go on and get really deep, if not win this year? Yeah,
they're talented enough. You look at from the back to front, Donnarumma, I thought, was great today. Big save. World-class goalkeeper for me. I know he's had his issues, but...
Why are you laughing, Nigel?
I'm not laughing.
Because Nigel's killed Donnarumma, week after week.
I love Donnarumma.
But that's okay. All the way to the middle of the field. Vitinha is about one of the best central midfielders, a fun player to watch in the midfield. I think losing Mbappe was a big thing with regards to having to adjust for a little bit. You were so dependent on all of these big names, plus Mbappe, and now he's gone. And Luis Enrique's got a real style of play. He understands who he wants to be. And it wasn't what PSG was before he got there, right? They were a little bit more direct. They were in your face a little bit more because they had all those talented players. So I think we're starting to see that they have talent enough. Clearly, the result of it, 4-2 was maybe, would you agree, a little bit unfair almost to PSG because they were all over Man City from minute number 1. They had 2 goals called back. They put pressure on City the entire day. But as Nigel said, they don't get they don't have the pressure week in and week out, and that over the years has hurt them a little bit. You hope that this team, if you're a PSG fan, that they can get over that because they're certainly talented enough.
Manchester City, on the other hand, Pep Guardiola, we saw him actually scratching his head on many occasions this season, but you've got to think he's going to leave tonight feeling the same way, right? How will he reflect on that?
The conversation, what happened now? Oh, my God.
Apparently now he has a hurt eye.
I hope that's not self-inflicted again. But listen, the conversation has always been, is Pep Guardiola the best manager that ever lived, right? In the last few years, that's what we spoke about, the way that they play football, the things that they want.
I've always had an argument with you that I've always said my opinion on it.
Is he the best manager that ever lived? I've never thought so.
No.
And we've always said the next question that follows up is, can he do it in a weaker team? Because he's always gone to the best teams. I think we've got our answer now. With Man City, with injuries, struggling with the penalties from UEFA against them, I think we have our answer now. That he wouldn't have done it in a weak team. That he can't do it in a weak team. That he's stubborn. He's failed to adapt, failed to change. For me, failed to respect the opponent. When I first saw the way they were losing,
in some ways with Erling Haaland,
in what way?
Maybe the biggest
in what
one.
Way?
He always tried to say, I don't need an out-and-out number.
Yeah, okay.
That's more of an evolution with still having all the luxuries and riches of being at Manchester City. So he could go and buy Erling Haaland at that time. Not many other clubs could have done that competitively.
Fabi,
but now
you lose 22 points from winning positions in both the Champions League and in the domestic league. You're never going to win anything playing that kind of football. And you constantly concede goals the same way over and over again. And so, what's that? I got a ghost talking to me. I mean, and this is the way they've been beat time and time again, where one of the members of the back four, it doesn't matter who it is, we're not going to go individual, right? Because people go, oh, Rico Lewis, and this guy and that.
I would like to go individual.
Okay, but one of the members of the back four just go willy-nilly out of the back four, and nobody covers. Nobody accounts for that imbalance that they have in the team. And it's week in and it's week out, and it's from winning positions, 22 points, like I mentioned earlier. For me, if you're the best manager in the world, you don't make those mistakes over and over again.
Is it a bit Ange Postecoglou-ish?
Yes. Yeah, if you're telling me, okay, two things are possible. He doesn't even see what's going on, right? He doesn't see what's going on. Or the second one, he sees what's going on, and he's too arrogant, right? And too stubborn to change. Both are equally bad.
Surely not, right? I mean, surely he's looking at this and thinking, this system is fine, it's just individual errors that are letting us
crazy.
down.
I would agree with you, Poppy, no, because she does say a play, because that's what I've seen wrong with Manchester City. It's been a lot of individual errors that's caused them to lose so many games and drop points. And for me, I've seen players be picked out. I'll go into names. Carl Walker was blamed, like, oh, it's all Carl Walker's fault. I want to see the Manchester City fans now. They're going to blame Carl Walker for today.
But that's the opposite of what you're saying.
He can't, because he's on his way to Milan, apparently.
I know,
but that's the opposite. It's a system.
The system plays a part, but then you can't. Pep Guardiola cannot go on the pitch and tell Guardiola, don't make that decision. Because there's been many times when Guardiola's made individual errors that's cost his team, where it does drive him mad. And I think the players have lost confidence. There's a lot of... It's not one. When it's one, you know what it's like, Tony. You can take that player out and bring someone else in. But when you have 5 or 6 who lose confidence, and watching that game today...
But have they lost confidence because of the way, in some ways, that Pep Guardiola acts? I mean, you even see how he rushes onto the pitch as soon as the referee blows his whistle to make sure he speaks about the tactics with the players. Do you think in some ways
sometimes it's a bit
the system is just too much for them?
It is a bit sometimes.
What the heck are we talking about here? We just got a manager that won 5 of 6 Premier League titles. Where do you put Pep Guardiola? Okay, he's not the best manager in the world. Who's better?
Ancelotti.
Okay, Ancelotti. Give me another one.
And before Sir Alex Ferguson.
Mourinho.
Okay. Mourinho's better than this. So Mourinho could go to Manchester City right now and do what he's doing better.
In a different way.
It's possible. He's got to get different players. He's got to get different players. Are you crazy? You're not talking about him as one of the best managers ever?
No, he is one of the best. I wouldn't say
is he? Or is it individual mistakes, or is it tactical mistakes?
Tactical mistakes.
Tactical or individual?
I go on what
Which one?
No, but I go on what you build, though. I think for me, when you look at Alex Ferguson, what he did with Aberdeen and what he did at Manchester United,
different era, Nigel.
Okay, but he's still
completely different era.
He stayed relevant for so many years to compete. Pep Guardiola has never built anything. He's gone to Barcelona. He's gone to Bayern Munich, and he's gone to Manchester already built.
Completely different era than this.
Pep will never win with a weak team.
Tony, he's gone to I'm with Grella on that one. He wouldn't. He's gone to teams.
Okay, where do you put him? He's not a top 10 manager ever? He goes 5 manager ever?
He goes to the teams with the biggest budgets, the best players, already set up to win, have already won the league 10 times over.
You tell me Jose Mourinho's walking into this not one of these guys would play the way Jose Mourinho
won the Champions League with Porto and with Inter, an Inter side that was not one of the best sides ever. And he won the treble in with very little.
But everybody who wins, you say they're not the best side. Even Juventus wins, they're not the best side. So these are the best guys.
Where do you fall on this with Pep Guardiola? You saying he's the best manager of all time?
I don't know of all time, but we're putting him up there with Sir Alex Ferguson. We're putting him up there with whoever you want to put up there. Ancelotti, everybody.
So what do you think?
For me, Ancelotti is the best.
Is it just a blip in this part of the season? Is he just having an off season?
Do we not think this is a blip in this season? Are you guys serious? This isn't a blip.
Tony, this has gone beyond the blip.
I understand, but
gone beyond the blip.
When you did your predictions, I don't know. I'm assuming if you did Premier League predictions this year at the beginning of the year, you had Manchester City at the top of the table or Liverpool, one of the two.
This year I had actually Arsenal winning the Premier League.
Arsenal, where'd you have Man City? 10th?
In the top 4. No, in the top 4, but not to win the Premier League title this year.
Right, because maybe they won 5 of 6 in a row, and you don't think that they could do that because nobody's ever done that. That's why it's so special.
No, it's special.
Nobody has ever done it in what everybody says is the best league in the world.
Tony, he spent $1 billion,
100%.
and he's got like 115 charges against him.
And when he came to Manchester City, but Tony, when he came to Manchester City,
you go on these charges. Do you know what the charges are? Do you know some of these are for youth team stuff? It's like it's not Pep Guardiola broke all of these rules. Go look at the charges.
So, Tony, are you saying that this is just a blip and Manchester City will be there in the Premier League title race? They'll be
I don't know if they're going to be in the Premier League title race this year because of what's happened. But you think if Pep Guardiola stays there, he lost how to manage? I mean, look at his.
Looks like it to me.
Grella, come on, man. You told me this weekend that Napoli has no players, but how are they the top of the? Because Conte's doing it with nobody. I'm like, I let him get away with the Napoli thing. I can't let him get away with the Pep Guardiola thing. No, he's not.
No one. I'm just saying.
Conte has no Kim, no Kvaratskhelia, no Osimhen, no Zielinski.
We do have to move on. Let's just show you what Manchester City have got to come on the final match day, because now they have got to win, which is another unfamiliar position for them to be in. They'll be at home at the Etihad, but they're taking on a Club Brugge side who, let's not forget, are no pushover themselves, are they, when it comes to this?
Dangerous game for them.
PSG, on the other hand, they're away to Stuttgart. They just need a single point, though, and they're through. The matchday 7 finishes like this, with Manchester City sitting in the red zone with only 8 points. OK, I think that's it for Manchester City and PSG discussion this week. Actually, let's just hear the thoughts from Peter Schmeichel and Anita Jones after this game.
Well, what a 6-goal thriller we were treated to here at the Parc des Princes. First things first, subs were the impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack Grealish comes on for Man City and straight away, within 5 minutes, he puts the ball in the back of the net. And you think now Man City are going, and then they score again by 3 minutes later. It was actually 10 crazy minutes, because by the time your 60 minutes was reached,
there were 4 goals.
It was 2-2, you know, and substitution played a really big part. Dembele, Ramos came on as well. And the weather was like Lisbon yesterday. Barcelona was visiting Benfica. It was 5-4. We talked about the game beforehand and were hoping for a little bit of the same.
Raining goals, and it did.
And it was raining goals. It was really, it was some spectacle today. And my God, how well did PSG do? Come out. They had to win this game. And they did it against one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, it will almost feel like an upset when you look at the point of view from Manchester City. We're not going to hear from Pep Guardiola given the result, unfortunately, but understandable, because they're now out of those playoff positions and it may not be in their hands now.
It may not be in their hands, no. They are a point off the playoffs positions. They play Club Brugge at home next time, a game you'd expect them to win, but they have to win that game, because even if it's not enough, they just have to finish this Champions League season off in a good way, and they didn't do that today.
Yeah, well, there you have it. 6-goal thriller here from Parc des Princes.
So it really does all hinge, doesn't it, like they said, on the final match day. So very quickly, do we see PSG and Manchester City, Tony, in the next round?
I think so. I think they both get it done, and they both go through, and they're both dangerous to whoever they have to play against, the two really, really talented sides.
Grell?
Yeah, Manchester City was plus 600 coming in. They were basically effectively second, tied with a bunch of other teams to win, to lift
today, you mean?
To lift the trophy before today.
Oh, okay.
Before today. But I do see them beating Club Brugge and going to the next round. And then, yeah, if they're not shooting themselves in the foot, for me, systematically with that crazy back line, then I think they'll be a threat.
Both of them through.
Both of them for through. Yeah, you would have to bet on that. Yeah.
You'd see them both through, but it's not going to be easy. I think they've both got some tough games. And Club Brugge, yes, going to the Etihad, not going to be easy. They've got something to play for themselves.
Didn't you say one of them wasn't going to make it earlier today? You said PSG wasn't?
Oh, yeah, that was earlier today. But
Okay.
I look at it reflecting the game today.
Yeah.
Look, talk about what you see.
Facts change, opinions change.
Facts change, not facts change. I watched the game.